We've talked a lot last year about the good NC State, the bad NC State. Mm-hmm. Did you identify anything in the offseason as to why that bad version has a tendency?
Well, the bad version early was because of the injuries. I mean, we didn't have a chance.
Right.
From that point on, we still had the problem that, if you want to say the bad NC State, was after we went and lost to Boston College, but that still is the hangover, or whatever you want to call it, for beating North Carolina. We haven't gone and beaten anybody after beating North Carolina. Other than that, we played pretty good the next week against.
I think you beat Miami second or third year after you beat them.
Then we had to do that to go to the bowl game, second year. But
if you go back to I'm not talking about Cincinnati and Georgia Tech. I'm talking about Florida State, train wreck. Then you come back, you beat Carolina, Boston College. You did not play well. Then you come back, you beat Clemson. Then in the first half of Maryland, train wreck. Second half.
Well, the first half of Maryland was we tried too hard. I mean, it wasn't that they were going too fast. I mean, you just don't drop balls and do the stuff you did. Everybody was trying to win the game and win it right away. They had visions of Maryland a year ago because they knew that. They listened all week to everybody telling them that Maryland always ruined State's year.
They did.
And so I think they wanted to make things happen too fast. So it wasn't, as I said at halftime, everybody said, well, did you give a great speech? No, we didn't. Went in, they knew they played bad. We had to give them a plan how to get back. And then once they got back on track and started playing, they played. They just had to relax and do it.
That wasn't something that you looked at this offseason and said, this is a particular reason. It's more of the ebb and flow of the season.
Right.
What is distinctive?
Once the Georgia Tech game was over, that part. Yeah.
What is distinctive about Frank Beamer's teams and coaching against them?
Well, Frank has always played great defense and had great special teams, and he's always run the football well. I mean, that's been his success through the years, is solid running game on offense, don't beat yourself, play great defense, and then always win the special teams game. So it's solid, fundamental football. And he's coached that way forever and believes in that, and certainly it's a good way to play because he's had a lot of success doing it.
What do you admire about his coaching style?
That he coaches that way. That's the way you should coach football.
Talk about the Tennessee game, the first game for an ACC team. Is there any element that goes into it just carrying the banner for the league against powerful SEC? I mean, does that even think about that, or what that can do for perception of the league?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is play for us. And if that's a byproduct of the game, then that's good for all of us in the league. So, I think the league talks about it that way. We want to do it for our football team and for our school and for our fans.
Coach, when I think of you, I think of young and hip.
You think of what?
Young and hip.
You got it.
Brought in Des Kitchings and Troy Walters and Corey Edmond. Has that been a kind of concerted effort on your part to get some new blood in your staff?
I think made a concerted effort that we had to get younger. I've been on staffs. I worked for Coach Welsh for 22 years or whatever, and at times when you have staffs like that, you get kind of old and maybe a little bit stale. I mean, there's real positives to it, but you got to be careful that way too. So, there certainly was an effort to get younger guys on the staff.
Tom, with the move to the 14 playoff in a few years, what is this league going to do in terms of progress in order to kind of regularly get one of those 4 playoff slots?
Well, we have to get into the game. You have to get somebody that's undefeated and champion of your conference. I mean, that's what has to happen. You have to have a dominant football team in this conference. Somebody that can run the table, win the championship game, then that's how you're going to get into that playoff. That's the way you're going to make it.
Do you like a 14 playoff, or would you rather have 8 teams to give everyone a better chance, a team like ACC a better chance to get in there, I guess?
I think that, once again, out of our coaches' meeting, we came out that we thought 8 would be a better number because you're talking about 5 power conferences. You're talking about Notre Dame. If your conference champs should have a chance, if you win a conference championship and say, you put a number on it, you have to win at least 10 games. if you win a conference with 10 wins, then you ought to be able to play for a national championship. Now, if you go to 8 teams, you probably can accommodate something like that. At 4, that might not be good enough. But put emphasis on winning a conference too. But with a certain number that you can't be a 9-win team and win a conference and expect to play for a championship.
What do you think about the possibility of expanding the ACC again and possibly including Alabama?
I don't have any feeling one way or another. That's for everybody else. They don't listen to us anyway, our opinions. Quite frankly.
Thomas, somebody
I gotta quit being honest, right?
somebody that knows about the challenges of military families. I mean, do you take a special interest in guys like Earl that have to go through what they've gone through with their parents being deployed?
I think the attraction to me is generally there's a certain discipline, their personal discipline that they're used to, and they're not the same 5 or 10 guys that I deal with all the time. They're those other guys that kind of are able to take care of themselves, and a lot of times those kids have leadership qualities because they're around career military people that understand teamwork, they understand leadership, they understand all those things, and so those are good guys for me to recruit if they've got what we think are the skills to play for us. Yeah, because they got the personality.
Do you talk to him too? When his mom's been deployed, didn't get to go to his graduation.
Right.
I mean, do you ever kind of sit down and, because you do know about those things more than the normal coach? Maybe.
No, you sit down and ask him if it's okay, and you're doing fine. He's pretty good with it. I mean, they understand because at this point in his life, there's been a lot of these separations, and that's just part of the military life. I think my wife's father was career Navy. I don't think he was home when any one of the 6 kids were born.
Are there any particular themes distressing more this year than perhaps in past seasons?
I think one of the things that we got to be especially concerned about is how we're going to start this year. We played 2 BCS schools right off the bat. There's no time to worry. Plus,